Jack of all trades. Hey, I'm your host, Lamar L.A. Smith, and welcome to another episode of the Jack of All Trades podcast. Today, I'm with my friend, Kamilah Williams. She's a grad student at Arizona State University, a University of Kentucky alum, and a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, founded in 1908. Oh, and I didn't forget also mention she's a former D1 athlete too. Honestly, you're so impressive. If I rattled off everything that you have accomplished or that you had in your resume, we would be here all day. we would be here all day. So further ado, we're going to get into the topic today. So the topic today is social pressures in college. So I feel like in college, you may not realize it, and it's probably not as heavy as in high school, but there's pressure to, be in certain organizations. There's pressures to, go to parties. I feel like there's a lot of pressures, whether it's evident or subtle, to do certain things or live the typical collegiate lifestyle, if that makes sense. So we just rattled off everything that you did in college, and we left off like half a page. So how did you juggle all those responsibilities that you had?
Oh gosh, probably self-discipline. Like I knew what I had to do if I wanted to graduate and if I wanted to stay on top of all my work. But at the same time, I wanted to get out. I wanted to make friends and stuff. And so I had to really prioritize and figure out, listen, like if I have homework that's due tomorrow, that's got to get done first before anything else. If know I have a test in 2 days, I got to make some time to study out for that. And if I have practice from 3:30 to 6, then that time is blocked off for practice. And if I have a chapter meeting on Sunday, then I got to block out time for that. Outside of that, that's when I got to get my other work done. And you know, I just kind of knew that I wanted to do a lot, but I also knew I went to college for a purpose. And I didn't go there to, get out and party like that. I wasn't really into it like at all. So I don't know how much I could talk about that, but I knew it was a lot of self-discipline and time management, and that I really had to buckle down if I knew I wanted to get my work done and graduate on time.
Makes sense. Makes sense. How did because you I'm pretty ugh, you joined track or you tried out for the track team your last 2 years. So using the track team your last 2 years, correct?
Yes.
So how did it's one thing to just be a regular student because that's what I was like. I didn't do anything that special. I don't feel
I was a regular student too. Come on.
like,
Before
but
I was on that team. What make
but but like you not only did were you on the track team, but you also were a RA as well. So like those
Mhm.
are two, you know, I guess fairly time consuming things that you throw into the mix to a schedule that already included, multiple organizations and schoolwork. So was it difficult trying to add that into the mix, or was it kind of just like clockwork?
Um, if I thought it was going to be difficult because I didn't know how track practice was. I didn't know anything when I joined. Literally, I walked into the coach's office and he was like, "Great, you'll sign this paperwork. You'll go downstairs to the athletic trainer," and that was a done deal. After that, he was like, "So you have practice at orientation," and that was the start of it all. But at before then, when I was an RA, I actually asked someone. I was like, "Has there ever been an athlete or an RA that was also an athlete at the same time?" They were like, no, not really. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll be the first. And after that, it was just kind of like, okay, I didn't really like tell my coach that I was an RA at all. They didn't find out until like weeks later when I just kind of mentioned it. And really, they were just like, well, you're an RA? They were like, praise to you for doing both of these,
Oh,
because I don't know how you do it. I'm like, and it actually, it wasn't that bad because being an RA is you have your one required day during Monday through Friday to work.
mhm.
Well, I should say Monday through Thursday to work. And then after that, you have the way depended on your billing and if you had to work a mandatory weekend or if you didn't. But luckily for me was I didn't have to ask too many people about switching my schedule around. I kind of figured it out in the beginning. Like, okay, listen, I know I can only work the desk at 8 p.m. because I have practice from 3:30 to 6. So they were just like, I can't work the desk shift from 4 to 8 because I ain't gonna be there. So don't put me on there. And then like you have your on-call days, but they never really like it wasn't an issue when I ever had practice. Like it was easy for someone to stay on call for me, like when I was outside the building at practice. But it never really was a big deal. Like being an RA was just like a little bit of like of importance. Like it was a big deal, but like it wasn't as big as you may hear it as. But I think being an athlete took up a lot of my time, especially when I had just worked the day before, ate the midnight shift, and then I had to do a round, and that was until probably 12:45, and then I had to be up at 5:30 to be at the weight room, which was across the way on South
Oh, that's
Campus.
right, because you live in the North Campus.
Yeah, and I love North Campus. I was never moving to South, but so I had to just make it work, and so if I had to be up at 5:30 and be at weights at 5:55, I was gonna make it happen. And if I was tired, I was gonna be tired. And I never really was like really tired when I got to weights at all Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I was like, okay, this is fine. Like I can do this. So I just kind of made it work, and it just ended up being really easy having the two, really honestly. So it was good.
Hold up, real quick before we move on to the next question. Did you ever have a situation where you had to like work a night before like a meet or something like that? Or did that never like
I
cross?
I had to work uh the day like when we got back from a meet.
Oh,
So like I was on call all weekend and I knew I wasn't gonna be there. So I gave my shifts away. But then I was like, I'll be on call and I'll work Sunday morning. But I don't get back until midnight. So we were on our way back from Virginia Tech and we got back finally. And yeah, I had to work the next day at 8 a.m. I think. And that was it. Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
zombie, zombie.
Yeah.
I
I think that was my probably my only time I ever had a track meet interfere with being an RA. Outside of that, never really was a issue really that I remember or recall.
Mhm. All right, that makes sense. So obviously, I know at least for me, uh, well, I guess I could say for everyone, no one really knows how college is going to go until you really get there. There's all these things people tell you about. Some are truth, some are false. How did you envision your college experience being like before you got there? Did you kind of just go in and just say, I'm gonna just figure this out, or was there anything that you came in like any perceptions or anything like that?
It was really like I'm just gonna come here and figure it out because I was first generation college student, so like
Mm.
I knew my parents didn't have enough experience to know what it was like living in a dorm or, what it was like going to a school that was also like, and I lived in a building that was brand new. And a lot of when I got there, campus was brand new looking. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know like what the dorm life was going to be like. I didn't know what it was like, what it was going to have a roommate. I didn't know about classes. And luckily, I went to a school like in high school where there was a little bit of like college readiness that they prepared me for. So I knew like what type of workload I was going to get. But I really wasn't going to know realistically what it was like until I got there and sat in the classroom on the first day. So really, I was just kind of winging it all 4 years and just trying to figure it out on my own because it was really just me against UK.
We instead of Detroit versus everybody, Camilla versus EK.
That's really what it was. Because I didn't know what was supposed to happen. I was just like, my parents moved me in. They were like, okay, bye. And I was like, oh, okay, bye. I'll see y'all maybe, at Thanksgiving or whenever I decide to come back home.
No, that makes sense. I mean, That's funny. I never knew that you were first generation college student. And then look at you, about to get a grad degree. So you're moving the needle even farther for your kids. So
Yeah, they
that's
gonna have
that's
high
pretty
expectations.
impressive. High expectations, but I feel like you'll put them in positions to hit them and whatever they do. All right. So did you have any social pressures to deal with coming into college? I know you say you was a first generation college student, so that kind of changes at least my perception of what it would be for you.
I don't know, really, because I don't remember like going out at all, like often. Like I knew I went to like a couple parties in the beginning, like in my first semester, maybe like three at the most. But really, I was in LLP, the Living and Learning Program. It was in
Hmm.
creative arts. So if they had an event that was like in the building, then I was pretty much going to that. Or, and granted, I mean, I hung out with a whole bunch of white people, and the building was a whole bunch of white people in that building too. And granted, there were some black people, and other minority groups in there, but I just really stuck around um, in that LLP, and I just did whatever with them really most of the year. It took me a while before I really like started going out. I didn't probably start going out until I got to Arizona. So
Oh
that's
wow.
yeah, isn't that crazy? Like I didn't really like I ain't go nowhere. Now I'm at Fat Tuesdays. I'm at Maya's. Like
We did the
I'm a
reverse. We
varsity.
did the reverse.
I
Like
know.
I went out at UK like pretty heavy sophomore through senior year. And senior year, I was the one throwing the party. So I was out every
Yeah.
weekend or doing something. Like, I don't know, I had like the party itch. Came here, barely went out a fair amount my last year of grad school until obviously COVID happened. So like
Yeah.
that was me for like a semester, but dang, we really just switched roles. Hold up, real
I
quick.
really
This is
did.
random.
It was a good decision because there were really people in my building freshman year who would just go out every single weekend, Thursday through Saturday. They were
Nah.
on. And I was just like, I don't know how y'all do it, but have fun. Like I went to a couple football games, like I went to the tailgate at the bowl.
Mhm.
Um, and other than that, like I was not going out. Like I don't know if it was just because like I looked around at these parties and I was just like, I don't know anybody for one. And two,
Yeah.
I knew my friends weren't gonna go out. So we would have our own party, like in the little study rooms where they had the TVs and stuff, have like little Netflix parties and stuff. So my party was in the dorm, Holmes Hall, because Holmes Hall 2016, that was it.
I mean, did you ever go to one of my parties? I'm just curious.
No, I ain't going
I don't,
nowhere.
I, I don't, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. My parties is already wild in general, so I
Well,
don't
I
know.
don't think I knew like anything about your parties. I don't like.
Cause what is it? I know we were both in NABJ together, but I don't. We
Yeah,
honestly didn't talk that much until
no,
when
until
you
like
before you was about to
until
go to
Becky
Arizona
told me
State.
about you. I was like, I remember him, but I don't remember talking to him that much. But yeah, I didn't know like you were a party promoter. Like I didn't know you threw parties at UK, and maybe I have been to one, and I just didn't
Just
know
didn't know it was me.
that it was.
It's
So
fair.
like maybe my junior senior year, like after I crossed Alpha Kappa Alpha. So what that was spring 18, April 1st. So that was my sophomore year, spring semester my sophomore year. And maybe after that, maybe I've known, but I don't think what year did you graduate though?
2018.
Oh yeah, so I
Yeah,
definitely
you probably didn't.
nope.
Probably didn't.
did not did not know.
Yeah, my protege threw parties that next semester for a little bit until like everything got hectic in Lex. But
I feel like
no,
maybe did you
I
ever have
never threw any parties when I came back either because I visited a couple times.
oh did
Yeah,
you ever
so
have like advertisements? Because I was in that party girls group me. And
oh
so I
yeah,
knew
yeah, I
when
threw that. I threw that in there. We threw
okay, so then maybe I knew that y'all was having parties in there. Like, but I was just like, I don't know nobody in here.
like that big Halloween party. I don't know if you heard about that one. The one that like there was way too many people in
Oh
there, and
yeah.
it was yeah, that was me. That's the one I'm not really proud of, but yeah, that was me. That was yikes.
Dang. It was too cold on Halloween, so I was not
Oh
leaving.
yeah, I just went because like it was my party, so I
Yeah,
can't
you have to
not
be
come.
there. You don't throw anything. funny. Yeah, I did not go out. I kind of wish I did, but also I'm glad I didn't because I don't know if I would have been able to handle being around that many people. That was the other thing. It was
Yeah,
always
it was way too many people.
like
Yeah,
I remember going to like rugby a couple times
yeah,
and baseball.
pack.
And I was just looking around. I was just like, there is way too many people in here. And then like some of the basketball players would throw parties, like birthday parties, really. And it would just
Yeah.
be packed like to the rim. And I was just be like overwhelmed and I could not get out. I was just like, I have to go. Like I can't. Like I'm going back to bed.
All right. So this one, all right. This one I feel like is something that you really be able to speak to because I obviously would never be able to understand. Like I understand a little bit, but people tell me that I guess I don't fit this. I don't know. I'm gonna explain it. So obviously UK is PWI. Being a black student at a PWI is it I feel like it takes a lot of mental strength, even though you don't really notice it, because you could be, the coolest cat in the world, but like certain things, like even the simple thing of being in the class and you're like the only black student. Like I've been in classes where I'm like the only black student. And it's just, I don't know, sometimes you feel uneasy, sometimes you're like, oh, like this is cool, but there's, I don't know, some type of, I guess, easiness that it feels when you see more people that look like you. So even if you had 20 people and it's like 6 or 7 of you, you feel, more easy because you don't feel like the only person in it. So obviously I'm different, people say, because like I'm just everywhere with everybody. So I didn't really realize it all the time, though I realized it. But it's even different for you, being a black woman at a PWI. Did you ever feel like any social pressures related to that, or how did that feel sometimes? Because you got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Right. It was definitely like a feeling of like uncomfortability, like I guess because I'll be the first to say there were some white people in my building that would just do things off the wall, like Xanax. Somebody was snorting like straight coke on their counter my freshman year, and I was just like what? And nobody ever asked me to do it. I think that was why I was okay with knowing like okay, like if they don't bother me, I'm good. And if they don't have to continuously ask me to do something, like I'm okay with that. They never asked me to do anything crazy. And so it's fine. But I definitely felt like going into classrooms, like it was just like, dang, I'm really looking around and I don't know anybody for one. And two, nobody in the room looks like me. And I was really worried that it would be up to me to be like this token black person. And I
Yeah,
did kind of feel that sense from the university when I started seeing myself on pictures and in front of magazines and on billboards, and not billboards, but like in advertisements,
yeah,
like they would post. And I would just be like, okay, it's okay to use me now. I know I filled out the little thing to say you can use my photo for likability. That's totally fine. But I think it gets to a point where we got to talk about some other things outside of that. But in terms of that social pressures and all, it was definitely weird to just be the only person. And until I found somebody in the classroom that looked like me, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to sit next to them because I'm like, I know you in the same boat as I am. So we got to stick together a little bit and, end up working out. And, there were some people in my classes who were cool and in journalism that I met who looked like me, and so it made the college experience a little bit better, and especially made it overwhelmingly better once I became an RA and I saw my staff was very diverse. And two, after I joined my sorority, like it felt so much better to be at UK and finding a group of people that I related to and they look like me and I can confide in if something like was bothering me, because sometimes I felt like you can't explain your same experiences to somebody who's opposite of you versus somebody who looks like you. Like, it was just nice to know that once I started feeling more comfortable being around people that I knew, like it was so much better experience at UK. But I will say I was really contemplating about like leaving UK. Like I really
wow,
go. I was like, ow. I was like, I do not want to be here no more. But then I realized I would have to start over, and I'm not about that. So, and
yeah. I
also
don't
just
blame
like
you.
a lot of time, and especially if like college credits don't transfer to the new school,
Yeah,
and it would have been just enough. But this whole argument of being like, should you go to PWI, should you go to HBCU? It's like at the end of the day, like y'all still getting the same education from the same accredited school. It does not matter. Like, especially when you get a job, like, if you got the experience or the grades, that's what matters at the end of the day.
yeah, it does.
If you have good networking, sometimes, just the diploma name, the title of the diploma can really get you through the door. And it don't matter where you go. If you want to go to Howard, great. You want to go to FAMU, great. But like if you want to go to UK, you want to go to Michigan, you can go to ASU. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
sometimes the title does matter, and at the other days, it really don't. Y'all still got an education from the same accredited college. It's still a college, 4 year. It does not matter, in my opinion. But I know others would say differently. So, yeah,
No, I mean that makes sense. I mean, like the first thing when you told me that I thought about is like it was funny. I was looking at a old pictures in my phone, right? And it was ESPN like campus connection that I did at UK twice. And I remember the second year I did it, and I was looking at a photo of us like all wearing our ESPNU shirts, whatever. And I was like, I'm the only black person in this photo. And like that's when it hit me. I was like, wow, like you don't realize these things in the moment, but it's like it's just I don't know, it's weird. Like I guess like the ignorance of it in certain moments is like how you keep your sanity, if that makes sense. And
yeah,
then also when you was talking about like the ads, I thought about how so I had I would say a fairly popular picture at UK. Like when I graduated, like I threw up the deuces. I was like this, and like I was smiling or whatever. And when I like for actually since I left, I keep seeing that picture circulated and circulated, and I'm like, I know I filled out a waiver. I wish I didn't because like y'all need to give me some money the way y'all have me advertising. Been
okay, they
been
will
on the
exploit
webs
everybody.
been on the website the whole nine. And then I thought about it. I was like, hold up. I remember one time I went on IG and on the arts and sciences college, they had my picture. And I'm like, this is getting out of hand. I didn't even graduate from that college. So the
Ain't crazy?
like the
It's
I
wild.
agree with everything you're saying pretty much. I can definitely feel that. I can I can definitely feel that. Uh just to circle back real quick, wh- what made you decide to join the track team? Like, uh, yeah, like in general, because I know you did it like halfway. Was it?
Yeah, I missed my routine from high school. Like I ran track and I played soccer in high school, and I missed having that, okay, you gotta go to school and then you gotta go practice. And then you come home, sleep, do homework, and then you gotta do it all again the next day. Oh, remember, you also got a game and you gotta meet. So back to back. So be prepared for that too. And I miss that. I miss being busy. And my first 2 years, I was just kind of like, I was like, dang, like my freshman year is when I really like missed it. And I was really just like, oh my God, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like I really miss like being playing sports. And I tried out for the club soccer team and I didn't make it, and I was just like, dang, this like really sucks, like what am I supposed to do now? And then it was actually when I was switching into the journalism college, one of the advisors, I mentioned it to her. I was like, yeah, like I really want to like be on the track team, but like I don't know like how, like I don't know what to do. And she was just like, just give him a call. And I was just like, oh, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, no, no. And I ended up sending an email to the assistant coach at the time. And he was just like, yeah, like, we'll see what you do. Just start, practicing on your own. And I wasn't allowed to practice with the team. And by the time I emailed them, it was already like too late in the season. So I couldn't just like pop up. And rules were different back then. They're kind of different now, but um I just kind of was just like, yeah, I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna do stuff on my own, and we'll go from there. And then like I started doing like running in meets um that were open to anybody. So anybody can join if you meet like the age range or whatever. And then that's how I got like my times in and stuff, and how I was just able.
Hold on, how you find that? Because I've never heard of that before. Like,
Yeah, so there's like, I can't even remember the website now, but if you just look up, like someone can look up an individual or an open track meet, and then it'll take you to this website that allows you to see all the meets in all 50 states, and if they're indoor or outdoor, and it tells you like
hmm,
who can compete and if it's an open meet and the age range. And it was the easiest thing. So like weekends I would
wow,
running a meet, and then I'd come back to Lexington, and I would just keep doing that. And my parents, luckily enough, my parents were able to like take me and watch me and record me so I could have something. But a lot of it relied on me. It was like I had to reach out. And if it wasn't really for her, I probably would have never been on that team, would have made
dang,
it. Because I ended up, when I found out, actually was like my sophomore. So in my sophomore year and then going into junior year, they ended up getting a new coach on the track team. And so I was
yeah,
just,
I remember that.
no. And then I ended up, the old coach forwarded my email to the new coach, Coach Green. Yeah. And he got me started. And it's a blessing. And I really thank him a lot.
Coach
Really.
Flo, real for that.
Yeah, it wasn't even Coach Flo that I emailed.
Oh,
Different coach, Coach Stevenson. He was
oh,
like the
I remember him.
all vote coach. So he forwarded my email to Coach Green. And after that, that's how it started. And I gotta give I really need to like I really thank Coach Green, and I'm blessed because sometimes, you know, I know Coach Flo, he was really strict about hit walk-ons. Like he didn't really like them as much for other reasons. I don't really want to get into for real, but because I can't speak for him and I'm not about to do that.
Yeah, no, I
So
don't blame you.
yeah, so I'll just speak for, the experience on my end was once I got there, I knew I could not lose it. I had to be there to be there. And Coach Debbie, she was just like, make sure you stay on top of your grades. And I was like, okay, like, you got to be 100% in. You can't be 50%. And I made sure to 100%, put in my 1% each day to get better. And, I really give it to them for, putting me on the team and actually letting me stay and not kicking me off because that would have been horrible. I would have been really sad. But yeah, I just found myself in like, I was like in this like really like floating stage of college of just like, what am I doing? I don't know. Like, I was
Mm,
like, I don't like this really. Like, I miss athletics. Like, I miss running. I miss my routine. Like, and it was just like, I gotta figure out how to do it. So really the start was that advisor, and I do not remember her name, but and
mm.
she was a black lady too. And so it was really, and so she was really the start of it all, I really gotta say, and how I got onto the track team.
Golly. Hold on. So, what did you major in before? Like you were in journalism.
Yes, I was in political science, but yes, I was in political science, and I don't think I had a minor. Oh yeah, I think I was a theater minor. Yeah. And then I was just like,
Interesting.
yeah. And then I went to one audition for a show that was I don't really understand for one because I was like, this is a minority based show, but I see nothing but white people and I didn't even make it, which is a little weird because also I did the show previously in high school. So I was like, this don't make any sense on how I just told y'all I did this show before. But aside from that, yeah, I switched out of that. I was like, nope, y'all are not about to tell people you need to get theater time in, but y'all don't want to put people in the theater. So as far as a requirement, like, so yeah, I switched into journalism with the minor in political science, and it was the
Mm,
best decision I ever made. So, and it didn't take me long to figure it out either.
mm. I mean, that's like making a Tyler Perry movie with white people. Like, how you gonna make a movie about black experiences and don't have
Um,
black people in it? That doesn't even add up.
yeah, I will never understand it. Like I'm looking like around, and even the theater department, like it didn't even seem like it was that many like minorities anyway, and a lot of them were just like vocal students, so like they weren't really like musical students. So it was just like, what? It didn't make no sense. I would never understand that, but I was just like, that's not my problem anymore. That's not my building.
I feel
So
that.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was a great switch because then I lived on North Campus,
mm.
and then when they moved everything, all I had to do was walk across the street to get the class now.
Oh, that is true because they moved everything in Blazer Hall. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so from so where was I? Sophomore year, yeah. Sophomore year I was in Boyd. So I just had to walk across the way and then I was in Jewel Hall my junior year. So I just had to walk across the street and then I was back at Boyd senior year. So it was great. I was like, this is a great major to have, y'all. My class is literally right here. I can see my classroom through my window where I sleep. So it was great.
And that was the Living Learning Community for the Communications College too that you was the RA for, right?
No, oh yeah, Jewel was, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was in that. I was the RA for the students in the communications LLP, and they were a great group of kids. So it was really nice because I related to them because I was like, oh yeah, I know like what you all,
Yeah.
I can help you, like I got you.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So since you're now at ASU, how did everything from being an AKA, being in NABJ, being an athlete, all of that? How did that prepare you to make this grad school transition? Because I only know like from what you told me about that, but
Yeah. So really, I don't even know how like where to begin because it all contributed to how I got here in some way, shape, or form. But like, really, a lot of it was just like my experiences and me actually visiting is how I even got to ASU. Like, actually being like, granted, Cronkite School was the only school I applied to. So I
same.
told I told Eric that I was like, listen, this is the only school I applied to. I'm not looking anywhere else. And if I just don't get in here, then that's just it. So and so and I really wanted to come to the Cronkite School for some reason. Like, I don't know if it was just because they were the best journalism school. I don't know if it's because I had previously had been here for something totally unrelated and I loved it. But I think it was like my resume also was just like, oh, this girl has a lot and my reel and it showed like I have potential. So it was like, okay, we can work with her. And I know, Cronkite was also in this little thing, with the dean and stuff, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that whole thing was a mess. And I don't want to say being black, I don't want to say that it contributed to my acceptance, but I look around in that program and there's only four of
Yeah.
us. So
It was.
you gotta do what you gotta do to get in, but really,
It
you
was
know,
4 in my cohort too. So yeah, it was 4 in my cohort too.
yeah,
And
and I understand like it's a competitive program. They
mhm,
want the best of the best, and so it is what it is now. I mean, maybe I said it now because I'm in, but like before I
yeah.
was itching, I was nervous. I was like, they're not gonna let me in. Like they're not. There's no way. Like
And
they're
I
gonna
kept
see
telling
me.
you that you were going to get in. Your resume was better than mine.
Oh,
Your
really?
GPA was better
I,
than mine,
I
more
look at my
diverse than me, and I got in. So
I
I
look
was
at my
like,
resume
there's no
sometimes,
way.
and I look at my resume sometimes. And I'm like, did I really do enough? Like, did I do like as much as I needed to do? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't tell. Khaki, and you were telling me they were like, you got to give your credit to yourself. Like, you did a lot, and I look at them like, are you sure? Like, it don't look like a lot. Like, I can't tell. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I should pat myself on the back more often and give myself credit more because I really did do a lot. Looking back now, I'm like, why did they let this girl be an RA and be an athlete at the same time? And that who thinks to do that for one? Like nobody. And of course I had to be the first one to do it. And so, but how I got to Cronkite, I don't even know how I got here. Like I literally got a call from Eric at 6 p.m. and he was like, "You're in." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm pressing the button right now." And I was like, "What? Yes." So it was nice because then I knew like I didn't have to worry about my next step no more. I knew where I was going
Yeah,
now.
that's a great feeling.
Yeah,
You're
it was great. So yeah, I don't know how I got here. I don't know who did it. I don't know how I did it, but
God.
yeah. the Lord really put some sprinkle over that meeting when they was deciding who was getting in and who wasn't, because whew, what a time. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be at Cronkite. At first I wasn't like really thinking I was gonna be happy about it. Like I think I was fine with it, but I was just like, I'm far away. Like I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, so I had
Yeah,
to fly all the way over, hours and hours away. Like it's like a 26-hour drive or something like that from Ohio to
that
Arizona or
makes
something.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, granted, we flew here. We at first we were gonna drive, but they were like, "Nah, it's cheaper to fly." So I was like, "Okay, bet." But like when I got here, I was just like, "I'm homesick. I do not want to be here." Like I look around, there's nobody that looks like me, barely. Like the person I had class with, classes are weird now. Obviously, at ASU,
Yeah,
so
because it's
they split the
Corona.
program. So like it was just like me and this other black girl in the class together, but we were like separated. So like she would have class on Thursdays, but I would have class on Tuesdays. So I never saw her. So like everybody else in class I knew was white and I couldn't relate to any of them.
Yeah,
And but other than that, like after like I really got to know like everybody in the program, and all the black people got to chat together. So we got to stick together for real.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
It's
you.
so much better now. Yeah, I love my
Dang.
experience there now. Like before, at first, I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it to next semester. Like, I was being honest with my dean. I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like, I feel so weird here right now. Like, I don't know. But after speaking with her and actually finally getting into the midst of boot camp and getting to know Phoenix more and the state, it was so much better now. So now I love it now and I miss it because I'm at home right now. But now I'm like, I want to go back. Like, I do not want to be here no more. I want to go back to Phoenix. I miss my friends.
No, I don't blame you. Like, dang, huh? I don't know why. I guess because of Corona, like even I operate differently, and I didn't even think about it. Because I think I didn't even hit you up. I was like, oh dang, like I don't know why we haven't already hung out, and we've been in the same state for like months
I
already.
know, yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute now. Actually, we wanted to do something with like you all's cohort because we wanted to hear about y'all experiences and everything and like want to know like what to do. But now boot camp over with and we survived. So
Yeah,
so
cause
we made
like
they said we were their favorite cohort. So
I don't know, like our nickname was the greatest cohort ever. So
oh wow. Okay.
I don't know. It's gonna be hard to beat. I'm not saying that you guys aren't excellent because
We had to go
everyone's
through the
excellent,
pandemic.
but
Y'all had it easy.
yeah, we did have it easier. I do give you that. Going through boot camp in the pandemic is a different level, and you covered the election. I give you that too.
Oh yeah. Oh my
That was hectic.
whew. I,
That was hectic.
whew, bro. I do not want to do that no more. I'm glad I will be gone when they have to redo it again in 4 years.
I'm glad that we just had I think it was a local election. Like we didn't have obviously we
Oh
didn't have
yeah.
the big
So
one, the big kahuna. But that's funny. Like everything that you just said about Cronkite, like that's how I feel too. Because I wasn't homesick when I went to UK, and I'm even farther because I'm from DC.
yeah.
But I was homesick coming to ASU. All the feelings that you had, like people not looking like me, because it's different. Like at UK, because it feels more community oriented because we're this big, college town, and it's just I don't know everywhere you go, it feels like, oh, UK this, UK that. So it feels more community based. Where
Yeah.
this is like everything is spread out with multiple campuses. You had a situation where you know just being honest, I didn't know that it can get whiter than Kentucky. Like
Okay.
the state of Arizona is whiter than Kentucky, and I didn't think that was
Scottsdale
possible.
really put things into perspective.
Like
That Biltmore area put thing into perspective. And now that I also live in Phoenix downtown area, like I look around, I'm just like, it's already
yeah,
enough that I don't know Spanish. But now you're talking about gentrification too, the white folk moving
yeah,
around here. It's crazy. And I don't want to get into politics, but when I had to report on the election, both areas that I went to, they were predominantly white and rich. And so their political preference was Republican. And so that was already like enough to
Mm.
be like, I didn't know there was something out here. Like there's people out here really living like this. Like there are white folk everywhere. And I was just like, where are the black people? And apparently they only come out on Saturdays from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. After that, you ain't gonna see them all week. So
Yeah,
that's really
no.
how I feel about Arizona. But I like it now. Like I think now that I found like good people and I gotten to know other sorority members out here too. Like
Oh, that's
now
cool.
a comfortable feeling to be here and I really enjoy it.
All right. So we're about to get you out of here. But before I let you go, what I do on every episode is I just play a game. And we play a game that is more geared towards the guests, kind of. So
Oh,
this game, the reason I titled it Eureka, because like you guys say the first thing that comes to mind is like a word association game. You know how
okay.
like Einstein said Eureka? So like the first thing that comes to mind, that's what I want you to say. So I got 10 words. What's the first word that comes to your mind? And then I might ask you for, explanation depending on what you say.
Is it like fast or something?
It's pretty fast. I'm not gonna rush you, but like it's
Oh,
pretty
okay. I was like, do I have to I have to be quick with it?
yeah. A quick answer is preferred because I want it to literally be like the first thing that comes to mind. But
Okay.
like I won't hassle you, obviously.
Okay, I
All
got it. All right, let's go.
right. First word, journalism.
Great.
Okay, second word, student athlete.
Hard.
I feel like demons are just like coming at you. You just
Yeah,
like filling all the past,
I
whatever.
like this game.
All right, black.
I don't know why I think of oh, what's that movie or that show? Dear White People.
Ooh, I need to see that. I heard that was
It's
great on
so
Netflix.
good. You have to watch it. It really
Okay,
is just
okay,
like,
okay.
yeah, I've experienced all of this.
I have to peep that one. All right, ambition.
Exciting. Like, oh, that it was like I had multiple words at once that came to me. That was just the first one that came to me.
PWI.
Uh, uh, scam.
You said scam?
Scam. Yeah. SCAM. Scam.
How so?
Because the way they like to act like, I can only speak for University of Kentucky, but the way that school, it looks good on paper.
Yeah.
School looks good on paper until you get there and you start realizing what's actually going on and the way they like to promote diversity on the brochure. And then you get there and you see like, nah, y'all
It's
ain't
like
about
3,000 of us.
like y'all got a whole mural on the wall and they got people picking cotton and slaves in cages in the mural and all they want to do is cover it. I'm like, that's not diversity. I was like, if you really were about diversity, you would create a task force and you would create more scholarships for minority students, but UK does not do that. I'm sorry, they do not. Like I had a scholarship to William C. Parker, and I only got
Same.
$500 out of that scholarship, and I was like, just 2,500 doesn't even put a dent in tuition at all for me. So scam. PWIs are scam. At least Kentucky was for me.
I think the most you can get is like 10K. I remember I got like 7,500, but I don't remember even applying to that scholarship. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like they
And
just gave it to me.
apply
I don't.
must be
I,
nice.
I don't remember applying to it. If I did, I don't
Uh,
remember because I got in like waitlisted too. So, all right. Next word, reading.
Boring. And I'm a journalist.
Hey, I hope you don't find my book boring. My book is lit. You got to get that. Come
All
comes
right.
out comes out in probably tomorrow. We'll see, but
Hey, you
this
need to promote.
comes
You
out.
better give a little shout out for your book now. Self advertise.
Hey, the first 30 days that the book is out, the ebook costs $1. So if you got
Okay.
$1, get the book. Simple as that. So everybody get the book. All
Got
right. Next, GRE.
remove it. Like what?
Swear. All right.
Funny
Next.
story. I actually told Eric that I wasn't gonna do well, I told him, I was like, this is not a good indicator of excellence. Like, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna fail, just so you are aware. Like, I'm not gonna do well. Forewarning you, that test. I think all standardized tests are horrible in my opinion. I think they are not a good representation, especially when the test was created originally to discriminate people from getting into Ivy League schools, minorities. I did a whole project on it. So standardized tests do not
Agreed.
well in my book at all. Get rid of them.
Agreed. It just tests people that know how to take the test. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell me someone with a 2400 and like back when they used to do it out of 2400 SAT is smarter than me who got like a 1330. Like just
Yeah.
because they
I
had
didn't
2400 that doesn't mean that they're more
about that.
intelligent.
Yeah, them tests are scams, just like PWIs sometimes. But yeah, get rid of the GRE and get rid of the ACT, whatever. Get rid of it.
All right. Next word, 12.
12?
Yeah. I just threw a curveball in there. 12. Yeah, 12.
What? 12? I
Yeah.
don't know nothing about 12. Is today the 12th? Oh, that's my birthday. Hey. November 12th.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I put that in there.
Oh, I was like, I don't
That's
know.
part of the reason I put that in there. Because I wanted to see if you was gonna say your birthday.
I know my birthday, I swear, y'all. November 12th.
Or
Scorpio.
or
Hey.
some people, if they, went to parties a lot, they probably say like police, but like I put 12 like
That's
mainly because
true.
like
That's
that,
what.
that's your birthday. So I was like, let me see if this comes to mind when she thinks hears
Yeah.
this. All right.
Scorpio season. Hey, I mean, it's over now, but in my brain, it's always Scorpio season. So
I feel that. Big Blue Nation.
go cats.
Okay, okay. And the last word, I gotta say the best for last.
Oh, God.
AKA.
First, first, number one. Woo! I actually wore like a sweatshirt today. So, hey.
Hey, that 1908. You love to
Yeah,
see.
it was the first sweatshirt I saw before I took a shower. So it was the first one I grabbed. But
Um, cool, cool,
yeah,
cool.
hello. Kamala Harris is in the building. Talk to
All
me now.
right.
Talk to us nice.
Before I sign us out, anything you got that you want to promote or anything that you're working on, anything like that, I always ask everybody because you never know what people working on.
Well, I will promote an enterprise story that I did, but the website isn't working. So I guess I'll just promote my professional page. At K in the Know, follow me. If you have story ideas, please send them to me. Um, Anything, whatever you think I should talk about, what stories you think I should cover, please send them to me. I take all suggestions. So yeah, at K in the Know on Twitter. Yeah.
Cool. And I'll put that in the bio at the end of
Okay,
like when
great.
I wrap everything up. All right.
Yeah.
So that's all we had this week on this episode of Jack of All Trades Pod. Make sure you check out the next episode on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure you also check out my sports podcast. Let's talk about sports. Put the info to that in the bio. And I'll also have, like I said, Kamila's info in the bio. LA out.